Hey class, so we're back, and in this tutorial I just want to go over how to make keyframes that hold, as well as how to make a jump cut. So let's add a new composition, and this one, let's make it that social media landscape. So 1920 by 1080, frame rate of 30, and for this one I think probably 10 seconds is fine. There we go. Cool. And I'm going to add a layer, so a new solid in the background, and I'm just going to make this something pleasing to the eye. Just don't make it too bright. Cool. Maybe I'll go for orange. So if you want to change your solid, let's do solid settings, and then you can always adjust these colors. So I'm just going to do like a nice fall orange. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is create some text for this. You can use whatever font you like, but let's make it all caps. I'm going to use my Sharp Grotesque and black, and about black 15 or bold 15, that's fine. For the size, I think something like a 300 is probably okay. And then I'm just going to call this hold. Cool. And move this to the center. Since I have caps lock on, it's going to give me that message. So this side is going to be the hold side. Now I'm going to have one other side over here that's going to be my jump cuts. So let's add that. That's going to be a different text layer. So let's click and call this one jump. Oh, get rid of my caps lock. There we go. We should make sure these are aligned. So if we hold both of these, we can go to our align menu. It should be somewhere on the side here. And I'm just going to align the bottom of these, this button right on the right hand side. Cool. Okay, now that we have both of our pieces of text here and they are aligned, I'm going to open up my properties panel if it's not open. And I want to set a keyframe for my hold. So let's make sure that our time slider is at the very start of our composition, and let's turn on the keyframe settings, so the little timer stopwatch for scale. And so what this is going to do is start me off at 100%. By 2 seconds, I want to first hold for 1 second and then jump up to 200%. Or scale up to 200%. So if we go to 2 seconds and then change this value to 200, okay, then it will be a continuous hold or continuous scale from one keyframe to another. But I actually want this to hold at 100%. So the way that I would do that is actually go to 1 second and make sure that I set another keyframe for 100. So basically I'm going to be at 100 for 1 second, then it's going to scale up to 200. It's going to hold at 200. So in order to hold at 200 for a second, I need to set another keyframe. So if I have not changed any values here, and I just want to set a keyframe, I have to go into this little time slider on the left-hand side and click the tiny little diamond icon and add a keyframe there. And so now what it's doing is it's starting at 100, holding at 100, scaling up to 200, holding at 200, and then let's have it scale back down, this time to 25 at second floor. So now we'll go down to 25. Let's hold for another second at 25. So how do you do that? You're going to press that little keyframe here, or you can do in your properties menu another keyframe here. Okay, now I want you to do the rest of these on your own. So make sure that it is going to move for a second, hold for a second, move for a second, hold for a second, move for a second, hold for a second, move for a second, all the way through. Perfect. Okay, so now for the rest of these, I'm going to hide this one. For the jump cut, I want to do something similar, but I want it to actually jump between all of the different sizes. So I don't want that super slow transition over a second. So how do we do that? So again, I'm going to set my scale keyframe for that one. And I had my time slider way too far forward, so I'm just going to drag that keyframe I just made all the way back to the start. And for this one, we're going to hold at 100 for 1 second. So again, to hold, I need to start a keyframe at the start of the hold and a keyframe at the end of the hold. And I have to set that keyframe manually, so I'm going to click on that. And now I want it to jump really quickly to my next size. So to do that, I just want to go forward just a hair. So if I was using my mountains and I was scaling in, this would only be, this is 1 frame, this would be 1 frame ahead. And so now, if I jump all the way up to 200, there we go, and hold that for a second. So to end the hold, so start the hold and end the hold, I'm going to have to click keyframe again. And then the next minute or the next seconds, I want to jump back to 100. So think about how you do that. I'm going to zoom on in really close, move forward just 1 frame, and then now I'm going to go back to 100. And so this transition is just going to seem like it's just jumping back and forth. Perfect. Now I want to hold this keyframe one more time until 3 seconds. So I want to set another manual keyframe for that. And then I want it to jump again. So this time, let's see, so it's gone, it's jumped, it's held, and now I want to jump again. So I'm going to go forward just 1 frame. So I want to zoom on into my mountains, go forward 1 frame, and then let's jump again. This time I'm going to go to 25. And I'm going to hold for a second. So move forward to 4 seconds. And then set a hold. And then I want to jump again. So I'm going to zoom back on in. And this time I'll jump to 50%. And then I'm going to hold again till 5 seconds. And set a keyframe. Okay, so now I want you to finish these 2 animations on your own. Go all the way to 10 seconds. So the hold is holding for 1 second, transitioning for a second, so scaling up for a second, and then holding for a second. And then the jump side is jumping every second to a different size. So once you finish that, I have one more little piece for you. So why don't you pause here, finish your holds, and finish your 10 seconds of jumps, and then we'll move on in a second. Now, the last thing that I'm noticing is that it's kind of annoying to have these play at the same time. Like, it's a little confusing. So instead, I'm going to have these play one after another. So let's fix our composition settings. So whenever you want to change your composition settings, you're going to go up to Composition, Composition Settings. And then now I'm going to change my duration to 20 seconds and hit OK. Cool. And now I can use my mountains to zoom on back. and get rid of that extra frame. And now actually I can press U to compress these so you don't see the extra keyframes anymore. And I'm just going to slide this jump back. There we go. And then since they are happening at different times, this one doesn't need to be off center anymore, so I can actually move it to the center. So we're going to use our handy dandy align tool again. So that if you don't see your align menu, go under window and make sure you click align. And this time I'm going to align it to the center of the composition. And then do the same thing with the other one. So go to my jump cut and align that to the center of the composition. And then since my deep orange solid color was not going all the way through, I'm just going to click and drag that one all the way out to make sure it's here at the same time, or it's there for the duration. All right, so now what yours should look like is something like this, where it holds, and then scales up, and then holds, and then moves on to jump cuts. So it's just constantly jumping from one size to another for 10 seconds. So a total of 20 seconds. Cool. All right, so so the last thing is that we want to make sure that we turn in an animated GIF rather than a AEP file. That's the After Effects project file. And the reason we want to turn that in as an animated GIF is because that's a universal format. Whereas the After Effects project file, maybe you have different fonts than I do, or maybe I don't have all of the footage that you have. So if you turn that in, I won't be able to see exactly what you see. So instead, I'm going to go to File, Export, and Add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. And that will open up Adobe Media Encoder, and you can see I just did that multiple times. You want to make sure that you are clicking on the name on the left-hand side here, the format name, so that you can open up your export settings. Make sure under your format you choose, for this one, let's do an animated GIF, so animated GIF. And then scroll on down, and just if you need to cut it, remember that you can cut this here. If not, I'm just going to say OK. And now this should say animated GIF. And then remember that you have to hit the world's smallest play button. And then when it's done, it will be, you can click on the link here. So I'm going to get rid of these other ones. So just right click and remove. Remove. Yep. And then this is the one that I want. And remember that you can change the name and where this is being saved, because After Effects always saves things to this, the project name _ AME, which is Adobe Media Encoder's shortcut. So I'm just going to save this to my downloads file, and let's call this hold jump. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so when you have that all done, upload that for a few easy points. All right, thanks, class.